Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another awesome episode of the Bleav in Iowa podcast. Brady is not here today, so it's just I, Logan Blackman, and former Iowa Hawkeye tight end Dominique Dafney. We got a big one coming up this week. Obviously, coming off the loss against Oregon, nice little rebound game, bro. Well, a little tough rebound game, I guess you could say, going out west to USC. Top 25 matchup. Could have massive implications for the rest of the year. Iowa does not have a great history traveling out west, but hey, it's a new year, new team, and yeah, it should be an exciting one this week. What do you guys say about this matchup against USC this weekend?
Yeah, I think just as I've been thinking about it all week, this is kind of a must win. And we're in that time of the year where like it doesn't really matter who you lose to, it's just the losses hurt. They hurt and hurt even more the later we get into the season. So going out west, we talked about how Iowa doesn't necessarily play the best when we go out to the West Coast, and we're playing another outfit that looks exactly like the team we just played. So it's like we kind of have to win this one, and we need to win. We need to play better. We need to play a more physical brand of offense. I think we got a little manhandled. We talk about the running game against Oregon, so I think we need to come out and swing and be aggressive and take this game. I know we talked about it in the wrap up of how Iowa usually lets people kind of lose the game and then they'll take it. I think we need to be aggressive on this one because your season's on the line. So you lose this game, that's 4 losses. I mean, we'll see you in the Outback Bowl. We'll see you in the Holiday Bowl. We'll see you. I'll come see you in Nashville at the Music City Bowl. So I think this is a must win for us, and we got to win a little bit handily than we're kind of used to.
Yeah, and it's kind of you brought it up a little bit ago about like the whole it doesn't matter who you lose to. It's just the losses stack up. And I'm kind of getting it's kind of annoying seeing on social media like oh, Iowa, you're right there. You're right there. Because all Iowa's losses are to top 25 teams. Like, oh, they're right there. Lost to 3 against Iowa. Well, top 25 when they played them. Obviously, Iowa State's kind of gone down since then. But top 25 teams lost to 3 by Iowa State, lost to 5 by Indiana, lost by 2 to Oregon. It's like, oh, Iowa's right there. They can do it. But now it's just a matter of actually going out there and doing it. And like you brought up, like this is a very similar outfit to what we saw in Oregon last week. I mean, they got a very good quarterback in Jade Maiava. He's a little bit erratic at times. They got a solid running game. They got Makai Lemon, who's one of the best wide receivers in college football, and they're a tougher defense than what we've seen last year. They actually look like a Big Ten team, unlike what they did their first year in the conference. So it's definitely an interesting one to look at from a standpoint of, can Iowa make Maiava turn the ball over? Can they get in his face? Can Max Llewellyn, Aaron Graves, all those guys make his life hell? And can they stop plays in the run game? Because like you talked about, like Iowa kind of got manhandled a little bit in the run game. And USC, they have a solid running game. Miller has a few 100-yard games. He breaks off some big runs here and there the past few games of the season. It's just a very interesting matchup from Iowa from a stylistic standpoint, given, again, like you said, how they match up against Oregon last week.
Yeah, and I think the way we're going to have to do that is kind of get back to that Indiana game plan where we had those foreign pressures with our safeties and, hiding our coverages and getting after the quarterback, because last week we didn't really put that much pressure on Dante Moore, and he was kind of able to, obviously it was raining, so it was tough to complete passes, but on the times that he did drop back, he had time. And while Llewellyn was getting after the quarterback and applied a couple pressures, had a couple knockdowns, had a couple PBUs, I think we just need more. And we need to get, like you said, get him off Jordan Maiava off his clock, off his time, and maybe force him to put the ball into our hands and kind of mess up his game. Because like you said, they have weapons that can make this game dangerous and can run the ball. Obviously, like you said, has one of the best receivers in the country. So they have guys, and not like last week, they are healthy and they are playing this week. They will be up and ready to go. So I think, like I said, we need to be a little bit more aggressive, because realizing that, shoot, this is it right here. Michael Jackson's last tour, this is it. This is all we got. So it's like we have to be. This is the game that's the most important because it's the only game we got, but it's actually more important because it's saving your season, putting it back in the right direction. You win this one, and I mean, we could talk about all the dots that need to connect for us to be in the right place, but you have to win this one in order for any of that to be relevant.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing if you don't take care of your own business. So you got to make sure you win this game and start off And if everything falls into place, then it falls into place. But you got to start off by winning this game. And against Oregon, we talked about this in the recap, that Iowa kind of beat themselves in some circumstances. Caden Weechen's fumble, you got the snap over the punter's head for the safety. Like, there were a few moments in the game for Iowa that you look at and go, man, if they had that moment back or had that moment back, maybe they can come back and win this game. What does Kirk usually do in these types of games where you look at, like, is when a mistake happens, like in a crucial spot in the game, like Weechin fumbling in the red zone, the safety happening, what is the process of kind of like rectifying that to make sure that at least doesn't try to happen again?
Well, first of all, it's so funny. We talked about this at the gym yesterday. You're going to see that play 30 times, and you're going to watch it yourself. So Caden Weejan's fumble, for example, I'm sure he watched that like 5 times on his own, like at home. And then you're going to see it in a team meeting. And then you're going to see it in the offensive meeting. And then you're going to see it in the receiver meeting. So I'm sure he's seen that play 100 times by now. So it's just frustrating enough. You could say the same for the long snapper. And then what's the first thing that's going to happen on, I guess what, they're in college. So first practice is on Monday. So what's going to happen? The first thing on Monday is going to be ball security. We're going to have ball security for everybody. Offensive, defense is going to go through ball security drills and tackling drills to make sure that we're up to date. And then for the long snapper, I'm sure he's going to get 1,000 snaps in, and they're going to spray the hose on the ball to see if the ball's wet, and he's going to get 1,000 reps. So it's the repetitions, making sure that we're not beating ourselves, and we got the small things, because as a long snapper, what's your main job? To snap the ball. And the one thing we talk about on offense is protecting the ball, protecting the money. That's the only reason why we're all here, is the football. If you fumble the football, you lose your job. The coaches lose their job. That football is worth a lot. So going back to the basics and making sure that we're honing in on the details. And I know that's what Kirk has them boys doing, has had them doing all week, to make sure that we're not beating ourselves. We're not putting ourselves in a position where, we could have won. We should have, that's the worst position to be in when you talk about being an athlete, is, we should have won, or we could have won if we did A or B. We want to be able to put our best outfit on the field and have no excuses and say, the best team won. And I think that's one thing that's annoying about all these losses, is we played well enough to win, but we didn't make the right plays at the right time that lost us the game. So you can win up to the last 2 minutes of the game. For example, Indiana, those last 2 minutes, you can lose the game. So it's like making sure that we're playing a full 4 quarters up to the last second possible is what they're going to be harping on for this week. Is let's not shoot ourselves in the foot. Let's go out there, play clean 4 quarters of football, and put ourselves in the best position to give us a win.
As the old saying goes, ball security is job security. You got to make sure to hold on to that football. And we've kind of talked about USC's offense with Maiyava and Makai Lemon. Talk about what Iowa's defense can do. What are we looking for in Iowa's offense? Because Karnowski hit on a couple deep balls in the game against Oregon. Are we going to see a little bit more of that? Are they going to be running the ball a little bit more? What do you think the best way is to beat the Trojans on the defensive side of the ball?
I think first and foremost, definitely get back to that running game. And I think that's going to open up the pass game. It was kind of weird how our pass game outperformed our run game against Oregon. Like, I don't know, that just seems upside down to me. Not only because, like, obviously Iowa runs the ball really well, but I think Oregon has been known to have a good pass defense or have good DBs who play the ball really well. So the fact that we passed for more yards than we ran was kind of like a little bit of a remnants or leftovers, residuals from Halloween weekend. Like that's just kind of scary. So I think the first and foremost is getting back to running the ball, because as we know, that's going to open up other things for us. I think we're going to see, similar to, I think, the Minnesota game, where we see a lot of handoffs and shifts and motions and trying to help Mark Gronowski be able to read coverage and be able to open up holes for our running backs to get the defense to shift. So there's going to be a lot of shifts, a lot of motions, going to be a lot of running the ball, kind of our bread and butter. And I don't think they're going to come out and throw the ball 40 times. Like that's just not in our duffel bag. We don't got that. So I think we're going to get back to Iowa football for sure, but I'm hoping that it's a little bit more 50-50. 60-40 if I'm being selfish on the throwing side, but I think we need to get that running game back going, and that's the way we can lean on it further into the game, because that's going to be something if we get up by 3, we're going to lean on that 4-minute offense. So I think that's really what we're going to see.
And we don't condone betting on this show, but Iowa opens up as a 7.5-point dog in this game. Is that a surprising line, or do you think that's a fair, like a touchdown and a half for this game for Iowa? Is that because I don't know, the traveling out west thing, it definitely plays a part in it, but I feel like these teams are a lot closer than a 7.5-point spread. At least that's how I'm looking at it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. No clue. What's
Exactly.
a line? What's 7? I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. Don't come after me. I didn't do it. They hunting these boys down these days. I'm all right. I'm good. We don't hunt these. We don't bet. I don't know what betting is. I've never bet in my life. I've never heard of FanDuel.
Yeah, we're not out in Portland. We're not.
No idea.
Chauncey. We're not out
no
there.
Clue. Nobody's ringing my number. I don't see 877 numbers or 1-800, and nobody's calling my phone. I have no idea what you're talking about.
What do you think of Iowa's chances overall in this game? Do you think there's a chance Iowa goes out there and wins? Because the game last year against UCLA, going out there against a worse team, that's still sitting a little bit. It's like a rock at the pit of my stomach a little bit, just how bad that game was. But the last time these two teams played, it was a fun one in the Holiday Bowl. You brought up the Holiday Bowl earlier. It was a pretty fun matchup down there in San Diego. But regular season matchup, good USC team, good Iowa team coming off a loss. What is your main thoughts on how if Iowa can go out west and beat USC in this one?
Yeah, we're gonna have to make it. Well, I feel like we say this every week, but we're gonna have to make it look like Iowa football, and it's gonna have to be grimy, because when you play West Coast teams, they have so much. They lean on speed and physicality. Like that's their bread and butter. That's the Oregons, the old Oregon States, USC. They're physical and they are fast, and that's what they've been known for forever. So the best option for us to win, or the best game plan to give us a chance to win, is to slow the game down, slow the pace down, win the time of possession, and points is at its most important. 3 and outs and giving the ball back to them is only going to get us beat. We got to keep this game close, and we got to put up as many points as we can. When you talk about these Pac-12 teams that came over, they're known for scoring points at a high rate. So the best chance that we have is make this game sticky, make it extremely physical. They want a physical battle. Shoot, I mean that's what we're known for. Make it extremely physical, and that's what's going to give us the best chance. Don't shoot ourselves in the foot. Can't have turnovers. Can't have missed field goals. Can't have goofy penalties. Can't have snaps over your head. While it seems so trivial, that's what's going to get you beat in these games against teams that can put up points fast. Because if we get down by 17, 21, 24, I mean, I don't know if we're built to come back from that. And, there had to be a lot that goes in our favor. So keep this one close. It's essentially a mirror from last week. We're going to have to do the same thing we did last week, but less of us getting on our own way. And that's what it's going to be like, because I think we matched up so much better last week because our defenses were pretty head-to-head, and the offense is what was really, hindering us. But this time, I think our defense is better than their defense. And while the offense isn't as good as Oregon's, it's something that can help. The fact that our defense is better than theirs, and their defense isn't as good as Oregon's, we might be able to run the ball a little bit better. We might be able to find guys open in coverage a little bit better. And hopefully, because it's not downpouring, we might be able to run the ball and throw the ball better. So, just that's where my mindset is at, is in order to win this game, it's got to be physical. It's got to be a little ugly. We got to have Caden Weege get back to doing what he does best. We got to have our offensive line getting back to the way they've been playing, our defensive line getting back to the way they've been playing, and cause a couple turnovers.
All right. We got a interesting game on Saturday. Big time implications for the rest of the season for both teams involved in here. Again, take care of what you control what you can control. Let the pieces fall where they may. And if you end up winning this game and going on a nice little run to end the season, let's see where that takes us. But do you have any closing remarks before we shut this one down?
No, just like you said, be be cognizant, have your full awareness up. This is one of those games where we need everybody on their everybody on their stuff. We need everybody locked in, realizing that this is you lose this game. I mean, it's one of those seasons we look back and talk about as, what if we would have beat Indiana? What if we would have beat Oregon? Where would we have been? Could we have made the 12-team playoff? So this is kind of the most important game we've had, because it's not only the game, but it's like, this is our season that's on the line. So that you want everything we talk about at the beginning of the season, where it's 12-team playoff, where it's Big Ten championship, where it's all that stuff. Like, this is kind of your last chance to even remedy any of that. So go out there swinging, go out there locked in, and just come out extremely physical with the Iowa brand of football that we know and some of us all hate.
Very well said. Very well said. Do you want to plug the socials before we get out of here?
Yep, we got Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all at Bleav in Iowa, BLEAV.
Perfect. Well, from Logan Blackman, Dominique Dafney, this is another Iowa preview. Hope the Iowa Hawkeyes come away with another win, or come back with a win, coming out west, coming back home with a win. And yeah, we will see you guys later.